came here when you start in a cafe, from kitchen and in the kitchen, then you end up outside as a waiter. And I thought this is who I am. Like, I used to be really shy. And then slowly, they said, no, this is, you got a connection with people. And connection with people, that brings everything,
Welcome to a new journey. I'm your host, Matt Griffith, and with me today is local restaurateur and businessman Guru Ghuman. Guru, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Matt. It's great. It's good to be here, Thanks for inviting us.
Oh, no, it's terrific. Well, you've made such an impression in the time that you've been here that it's well worth a chat to find out your journey. So
thank you, man.
I'd be very interested to find out a little bit about it. So talk to me about your connection with the region. That's how we always kick things off.
Yep.
Obviously, you weren't born and bred here. You're born in India.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you come to be here right now.
So I'm born in India and I grew up there. And when I was 18, I moved to Sydney from India for study. And then I was working with one company, and then they took me to Melbourne. They had cafes and catering company there. And I was there for 2 years, then I moved back to Sydney again. And while I was in Sydney, I had enough with the, traffic and rush life. And one day I was, sitting in a room and looking up the ceiling. I said, no, this has to change. And within a week, someone called me to help out. He was our worker in Melbourne Cafe. And he goes, can you come and help us in Albury? And I said, okay. And I even didn't know where his Albury is,
Yeah.
So I said, I'll see you this evening. He goes, are you around? I said, no, I'm not around. But, it only take maybe half an hour. He goes, where is Albury? I said, I thought Auburn,
Yes, Auburn. Yeah.
Then he goes, no, it's Albury. It's on the border. I said, can you please send me address? When I put on the map, I said, far out, no way, I'm not coming there. And but then I thought, look, that could be the connection too, Then I came here for 2-3 days to help him. Then I just took over from him. I said he had he doesn't have enough knowledge to run the place. And while I was sitting outside and having my coffee, my habit is always, when I see someone, I always smile, and say hello. And that was the first time someone actually said hello back. When you're in Melbourne, Sydney, life is so rushed, you same road, over and over, And I said, wow, that's a friendly place, Then, I talked to a few more people, just walking past, Then I thought, oh, wow, this is the place where I want to be. And the fella who called me here, then I asked him, I said, look, man, if he was thinking to get out. I said to him, look, I'm more than happy to take over. I went back to Sydney, packed up my bag, and I'm here.
That quickly?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was about 2013, and Guru's Cafeteria was on Dean Street, and that was the original one. Were you a single man at this stage?
That stage, that stage. Now, I'm married. My wife's name is Nav, and I got 2 kids.
Yeah. And so you met your wife here?
Yeah, I met my wife in Sydney as well.
Oh, in Sydney as well. So did you move? Did you know her before and then move here? And
I used to travel a lot back because my old friend were back in Sydney, and then I met her there, and then we dated, and then after a few months you think this is the right person you want to marry to. And once I married to her, and she was like, oh, are we staying here? Because, when you in a busy city and compared to little town, it's a big difference. It is very quiet here and relaxing. But you can't really describe that feeling to other people, Then I said to her, oh, maybe we'll stay here 6 months. For after 6 months, after marriage, 6 months, we're driving to Melbourne, coming back to Melbourne. I asked her, should we move to Melbourne or Sydney? I think then she said, no, Albury is the town.
Brilliant.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it does happen to a lot of people that way. It happened to me that way as well, growing up in the city.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to your childhood, and then we'll come back to your experience here because you've now got 4 Is that, well, soon to be 4, but you've got 3 establishments and about to be a 4th. So, I mean, it's just been such a success story, which is tremendous. But, all right, whereabouts in India were you born?
So, India, I'm from the North India and a state called Haryana, and the village name was Parbot, And the town was very little. Like, there was only 1,500, 2,000 people in that town, That's why I preferred the Albury, because it was quieter.
Interesting, because you always think of, even when you were talking about Sydney and Melbourne, in my head I'm thinking, oh, but that's small beer compared to all of the images and stuff that we mainly see of India, which is obviously in the big cities.
Big cities,
and it's just absolute chaos. So your experience of growing up then was more like it is regionally here, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So I brought up in that small town. Like, first time I moved to the New Delhi, there's another city, it's just, next to New Delhi, how is Albury-Wodonga, but that's from Haryana as well. So while I was there, the first time I walking past the shopping center, how doors open, shut. If you go to India, they have a security people at the front, how you have at airport, I walk past a few times. And every time door opens, the cool air comes out. There was air conditioning, but because I was from a small town, we never had air conditioning. I never seen. The first time I thought, well, what's that cool air? Every time you walk past, the cool air. I keep walking past because it was summer, and the security guy thought I'm suspicious. they called me over, and so even though the village I brought up in, we used to have a power like 6 hours or 8 hours a day.
Wow.
And the rest, like no electricity,
So what did your parents do?
Farming.
Right.
Yeah.
So was the expectation that you would stay in farming and continue what your parents were doing, or did you have it in your mind straight away that you wanted to move?
No. I in the beginning, like, we didn't know there's such a thing called cafe, because in a small town you have there's small community, and you grow things, you sell things, you make some money, you try to survive on that. So that was pretty much the life. I never seen out of the circle. When I moved to the bigger city, then you saw world different way, Oh yeah, you have more potential, you can do this in your life, Then I was studying there business management, and when I came to overseas Australia here, and for like better life, and of course to get opportunity for jobs, and better value to life as well here. So when I came here, so I was studying business management again, and hospitality, and I got a job in cafe. And I'll tell you the funny thing about, when they called me for a kitchen hand job, I had no idea what does that mean, kitchen hand, He goes, can you come over for an interview? I said, okay, that's fine. I was wearing a suit, took my qualification with me, and I went there. I could not find first place. It took me hours I was late because I could not find the place. That was near a pier, near the Harbour Bridge in Sydney. So when I got there, he looked at me, the manager, he goes, that job is not for you, because I was wearing a suit and tie, and he goes, oh, that's for a kitchen hand. And I said, look, I'm more than happy to take this job. He goes, oh no, this job is not for me. I was walking away. Then I said, what qualification do we need to be a kitchen hand? I said, better I ask. They were so busy cafe. I went back. I said, sorry to hassle. Can you please tell me what qualification do I need to be a kitchen hand? He goes, do you know what does that mean? I said to him, no, I'm sorry, I don't know what kitchen hand means, because that's only I'm new in Australia, And second, English being a second or third language to me. And he said, okay, follow me. He took me in the kitchen. There was a big pile of dishes. He goes, the guy who washed this one is called kitchen hand. And I was so embarrassed. And I said to him, look, I'll take this job. He goes, you're not going to wash dishes wearing a suit. I said, okay, so give me 5 minutes, please. I went in a bathroom, and I was embarrassed. I called my mate. I said, man, why you didn't tell me what does that mean, kitchen hand? He goes, it's common sense, he said to me. And then I went back to the manager again. I said, look, I'll take this job. I took off my jacket and all. I started washing the dishes. So that's where I start my hospitality, my first job.
Yeah.
So as long as I was in Sydney or moved to Melbourne, I was under the same company. So, and there was an environment to learn more, So I started as a kitchen hand, from cook to chef to baristas to manager.
Yeah.
So they had like 5-6 cafes, big catering company, and that was a lot of things to learn. And I said to my boss, I said, as long as I learn, I will stay. And I stayed with them for a long time.
Yeah. And in the meantime, as you said, your qualifications and experience increased. So you are a qualified chef.
Chef, yeah.
Were you always a kind of, we call them foodies, obviously. Were you always a foodie even when you were a kid, or was that something that literally did grow as you grew in the hospitality industry?
I was foodie, since, I can remember. And then always interesting how you cook it, how you present it, So when you come to Australia, you see the beautiful dishes when you walk past cafe or restaurant, how they're doing it. Like back in India, only thing I knew that Indian food, But when I came here, then you see, look, man, there's Italian, there's this, there's that, like so many beautiful food, Mexican, and then more study, more invested to it, You try to make the dishes, and then it comes a time where I was doing the menu for the cafes, and was great. I enjoyed it, and I still do it.
Yeah. And how proud were your parents in terms of what you've been doing? Did they want you to stay?
Yeah, they do. In the same industry, because I have proven to, especially myself, but there's no limit, you can, and the bottom line is to be happy.
Yeah. Have they come out here?
Yeah, they've been here a few times, they and they love to visit us, to kids and my family,
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah. So now, what motivated you to come to Australia specifically? Because, there's a lot of opportunities in a lot of different countries. Like, what brought you to Australia?
So one of my best mates, he came over for study. So then after a year or two, he convinced me to, come over too, because it's a better life, He goes, you should come here. And for me, the first thing was, you stick with your best mate, That's why I came here. So that was the start. And then when I came here, when you start in a cafe, from the kitchen and in a kitchen, then you end up outside as a waiter. And I thought, this is who I am. Like, I used to be really shy. And then slowly, they said, no, this is, you got to, connection with people. In connection with people, that brings everything,
How would you describe your life here? I know it can be difficult to kind of summarize it, but how would you describe your life in Albury-Wodonga?
Oh, it's beautiful. Like, it's we're quite happy. My family happy. I'm happy, and it's a beautiful community. It all comes with the how you say. My grandfather used to say, "Is the world is a reflection." If you see in a mirror, what do you see? He said. I said, look, I see myself. Because this is the life. If you send good things out, you get good things. So that become your surrounding too. So if I'm spreading happiness or something good, I get good in back to you.
Yeah.
So if it's like someone walk past a coffee shop, if I smile, even though I don't say anything, people will smile back. It's little thing.
Yeah. You're well known for your hospitality in the hospitality industry. Let me ask you, what do you think is most important? Is it the quality of food or beverages, or is it the service? So what is the most important?
The most important thing, what I would say, is like, first it comes to the service, making people feel comfortable. It's just like common thing when your guest comes to your house. There's no rocket science. How you treat them, it's exactly how you treat your client coming to your door in a cafe, because you're there because of them, So there's not rocket science, when someone walking into your door at home, what would you say? You say hello, you offer them water or drink, whatever you have available at home. So this is my theory. Like if someone start work with me, I always say like the way you treat your guest, the way you treat your family member is exactly the same way. We all make a mistake. You make a mistake, just fix it.
So it doesn't matter how good your food and drinks are.
Yeah, but service comes first. Like if not sure about your product, that's also a minus point.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're doing, like your product, the quality, especially anything make you feel proud. You using a top ingredient to create something, and inside I know what I'm feeding people. That sort of proud you wear in your head. I think that's the more important thing too, like the quality of the food.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the perception is, and I'm sure this is definitely the case, not only with running your own business, but also running things like cafes and eating and drinking establishments is hard work. So you were here in 2013 and you started your cafeteria. So was that the first time that you've actually owned it? Because you didn't own anything in Melbourne and Sydney.
Yep.
How did you find the experience of running it yourself? And then let's talk about the experience of actually getting more establishments and how difficult that's been. So first off, how hard has it been to run a cafe before you owned anything?
It was hard to start up any business, but when you see in your head what you can achieve, you have to win in your head before you win in actual. So I knew that it's going to work, but it's going to take a lot of effort. I did not have enough funds to provide a better dining. When I say better dining, not maybe comfortable chair or or tables. Only thing I had is my knowledge and me. And
must have been a bit scary. Was it scary?
It wasn't scary because this is who I am. It's my field,
So did it almost feel like an inevitability?
Yeah.
That this was going
to work. Yeah, and it was tough. Like like first year, 2 years, you hardly just
How do you balance that with your family?
Oh, at that time I was single.
Of course, yes.
With the startup,
Yeah.
Man, I was there from 5 a.m. till midnight, like for 2 years. And, you're trying to work out what works, You make menu, just like 12 dishes, or 2 is popular, 10 is not popular. After 1 month, change it, Keep that 2, add another 10, Then another 2 are popular, minus another 8, change it again, Keep doing over and over till, you have enough people, coming in. And again, like when you put 120% effort, people see it and the universe see it, and they're all there to help you, And people gave me the chance, and I'm very, very grateful. They, for their kindness, and their valuable time, they spend with us, and they still do,
Yeah.
And it's all comes back to them, to the community. They, they supported us, and otherwise we wouldn't be here,
Yeah. Well, you're not only here, but you're really becoming like a conglomerate of great establishments. So
we try.
The first one was Guru's Cafeteria on Dean Street. Then there's Blowhorn, which is a few doors down. Now, I love the story of the name. So I was thinking, it might be a nautical thing, or a train thing, but it's actually to do with the traffic in India. Tell me a little bit about the name.
So the Blowhorn, before we opened the restaurant, I was in India, and we used to go for a walk with my son, dropping my daughter to school, have a coffee, me and my wife. Now we used to go for a walk. towards, Dean Street, towards the, where it's Blowhorn now, that way. So my son had a little car, if you've been to Blowhorn, how it's a little ramp, he put his car up there, car comes rolling down, downhill. I was making his video. At the back, it was saying on lease. And I didn't notice that time. When I went overseas, I was looking, in the plane, his videos. Then I saw, this place for lease. So when I came back, the landlord, and I came to know, they saw he's more than happy to give us a go, and then I thought that might be all dot connecting some reason, And I thought, what we gonna do there? Keep thinking in my head, and then it came in my head. So we do Indian or Middle East cuisine, and something with no preserve, And while my brother picked me up from airport, every in traffic you see the truck you're driving past, or trolleys, tractor trolley that you can see on the street, on the road back in India. Everyone at the back is say Blowhorn, and the buses just say Blowhorn. I said, this name's attached to the memory. That's why I call it Blowhorn, just for childhood memories.
Yeah. Oh, that's tremendous. So there's Blowhorn, then you've got the cafeteria in Wodonga as well.
Yep.
So you're broadening the range, but it's essentially Guru's cafeteria. And now you're about to, as we're recording this, you're about to take over at Meraki Kitchen in South Albury, which is a lovely, lovely place. Jackie, the previous owner, she's done a wonderful job building that new building, because that was on Dean Street as well. So 4 establishments it's going to be. How do you balance those out, not only with your family life, but how do you give each of them enough of your time and energy?
It's all come back to the good team, So people been working with us, been 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, some of them 3-4 years. It's their value, we all grow together, If we had a cook become chef, after 3-4 years, and so the good team is your backbone. If you don't have good team, man, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't keep it balanced. I'm only one person,
Yes.
So I can be the brain, but I can't be everywhere.
Yeah. How do you spend your time? I mean, do you go between them consistently, every day?
Like in the morning, I wake up 5 a.m. or 4:40ish. So we open with Albury Cafe 5:30, and so I go there 5:30 or 6 o'clock and spend a little bit of time there. Then you head to Wodonga. You just check all the stock or talk to chef. Is everything okay? And few days I get a chance to make coffee too, which is great.
Yeah.
So
what have you learned in terms of people managing teams? And making sure that everybody's not only happy but working well together. What's your philosophy on teamwork?
So first thing, I do when I always talk with them on a regular basis, and I always say if you're not happy, what else? It's all about the happiness. My what I do is who I am. And that what makes me happy. If you ask me to do something else, I can't even imagine doing something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might, like the farming because, I brought up there in farm. But apart from that, anything else, no.
Yeah. But is that natural, do you think, or is that something you've had to work at?
Oh, no, I think it's just come natural. Once you convince yourself, this is it. And you want to be master of this, you're running this show. You want to be the master of this thing, Maybe what next, but you keep hassling. There's more, So then when you look back, how you did it.
Yeah.
It happened,
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your mind, is this an ever expanding thing? I mean, it's for now. Will there come a time where you'll have to make a decision, do I get more places or even expand regionally?
So there's nothing like that in my head. But if you see any opportunity, am I ready? That's the thing. So like when we have this, whatever cafe we have, the business and restaurant, is my team happy?
Yeah.
Are they staying with me a long time?
Yeah.
Am I free? And this opportunity came up, even though we taking over Meraki next month or second week. Hopefully all goes well. And this also I heard through a person, one of our customer, like mutual client. He was he said, this place on the market too, and I always wanted to do that kind of food as well, healthy side. And in my head I was looking somewhere near the Maya Center, but not in there, but outside or at Taguna. And then I look up, Meraki, their website or their page. That's on sale. Then I message Jackie, and then we start talking, and slowly we're getting there.
Yeah. But you always look like a really hands-on person because you're always in there, and we, a lot of people know you from being hands-on. You're right there, front and center, talking to everybody. When you've got a lot of different establishments and you're managing a lot more people as well, is there a slight concern there that you won't be able to be as hands-on as you used to be? And if so, how do you think you'll manage that?
As I say, like how we have with the team, it's all team effort. It's not individual, So mostly recipes and menus, I do it. Then we have a head chef, and that's how we just make food and try as always good. That's good staying in the menu, so that they take their in from there, and then mostly if I'm at the front, making coffee or talking to people, taking the orders. This is what I like. So always trusting others, and bringing them up to the level too. Appreciation.
Yeah.
So,
what would the young guru in India think of what you've become? Would you have been amazed, like the 10-year-old guru to think of what you've achieved and where you live and everything? Would he be just amazed?
So even though when I say, so I've been in Australia 17 years now, so back in India when I was a 10, 11-year-old, I even didn't know where's Australia. You watch a cricket match on TV, that was it. Like, there's a big thing watching a cricket, in India, cricket is a big thing. And I never thought, to be honest, I'll be able to be here. And again, I think you just keep hustling, doors open. Some days you can't see, but you got to show up,
Yeah.
And, it might take a month, a year, 5 years, but it will happen.
And it sounds to me as well that you didn't have everything plotted out like some people. They plot out exactly what they're going to do in life. But it sounds to me that essentially you got the right mindset, and then you opened your eyes to any opportunity, and then the opportunities that present themselves to most people in life, you then took the right opportunity at the right time.
Right time, yeah. And it's all being ready, If you're not ready, opportunity comes to you, and you're not ready. Someone, then then opportunity doesn't wait for you. You just be ready, be happy what you have.
Yeah.
Keep hustling.
Yeah.
And thrive to more.
Yeah.
Bring some value to yourself.
Yes.
And for me, always keep being a happiness. You gotta be happy, even though it doesn't matter you have little, doesn't matter you have more. You gotta enjoy what you have now, because we haven't seen tomorrow,
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
And you would have had quite a few challenges, obviously, in your time here, outside of, personal issues that we all have. But COVID, hit obviously 5 years ago, and your industry was affected pretty badly. Let's be honest. How did you find navigating your way through that?
With the COVID also, I only lost maybe say 15-20%, of the business, which is nothing. It's because in Albury-Wodonga, such a good community. People used to have one coffee, they had a two. just to support us.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, God.
There
that's
were
good.
people like, they can actually make the wraps at home, just to support us, buy the cake as well, buy the wrap as well. You can literally tell like how nice the people are here.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have enough word to describe, but I'm grateful. Like,
So
man,
will you stay here for the foreseeable
Yep.
future?
Yep.
Yeah. And the kids,
Kids, yeah.
obviously, what a wonderful place to raise children.
Their children, yeah, and it's just great.
Yeah, yeah. Do you ever foresee yourself still living here, but potentially having a place in Melbourne or Sydney?
Oh no,
No.
Oh, we if we go to Melbourne or Sydney for a week, man, we done. Yeah,
I know.
we done for a year.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good to visit,
Yeah.
go around and have some,
Yeah.
visit some eatery and,
Yeah,
I think that's it.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine living there. But people who live there, like, good on them,
yeah.
But I don't think this is my cup of tea.
That's true.
Yeah.
Was there ever a scenario in your life, do you think, where you could have stayed in India?
Like, that was very hard to come to Australia saying goodbye to your family. But that still haunt me, So
Do you
my
have
mother
brothers and sisters?
So my brother he's in Canada. So my parents, they live in India still. My sisters also, they married, and especially to mom, I'm really close to my mother. And man, there will be some night, it's cold night, I will wake up like sweated, and because saying goodbye to your mother. And yes, that's the only thing I miss is a family. But apart from that, I don't. Yeah, I think it was a better opportunity. I came here, and it's a very peaceful, and we Australian citizen now. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think this is my country now. So
Oh, that's tremendous. Who do you go for in the cricket? Guru?
Australia, of course.
Oh, yes. As I always say to people, so I came out from England when I was 8, and I always say to people, it's my right.
Yeah.
If England are going particularly well and Australia aren't, it's my God-given right to be able to go for England.
Yeah.
But I do go for Australia,
Australia, okay.
unless
I enjoy the good
England
game.
is doing really
Yeah, I enjoy the good game rather than, trying to back for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still love, what things do you love outside of the work that you do?
A little bit of backyard cricket, just playing with the kids.
Yeah.
And my daughter, she played lots of basketball. Spend time with her, going, for a walk with the family, with the wife.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Have you been converted to Australian rules football since you've been here?
You mean AFL?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to follow for the last 10, 12 years, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But team is not winning, though.
What's your team?
Carlton.
Oh, Carlton. Oh, that's really sad for you. Who
Yeah.
convinced you to go for Carlton? Damn them.
Man, I actually, they were pretty cool, like, few years back, like 12, 13 years. I went to one of their game.
Yeah.
And, then I was new in Australia, too. I said, it's then you think, oh, that's your first game you watched it. Oh,
Yeah.
you become a fan of it. So,
Yeah.
then my daughter has the cartoon gears and all. She was like, oh, do I have to wear that?
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you are just an extraordinary example of what anyone can achieve anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be here, but the way you've just embraced the community, it's just been extraordinary. And I mean, your philosophy to life and business obviously resonates with everybody here, and you get the love back.
Yeah, that's
basically,
it. Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next 5 years, you've got the 4. Will there be 6 or 7 by the time we next catch up in 5 years?
Let that time speak,
Yeah. No, you've done really well. 4 would be a handful, I'm sure. But as you've said, you've got a great team behind you. All right, well, let's wrap things up. It's been a great chat. I've really enjoyed
Thank you.
finding out your journey, Guru. If you had to recommend, if a family member or a friend was coming over from India, for example, and rocked up here to the border and you were wanting to show them around or point them in the direction of some cool things to do, what would you tell them to go and do?
I think it's first thing, even though if you look around, beautiful mountains, like, Hume Dam. Oh, don't forget Guru's Cafeteria,
That's it, yeah.
For great coffee. Yeah? And, it's, nice like, river. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Now, this is a question that we do ask everybody, actually, is a kind of formulaic wrap-up question, sweet or savoury. Now, for yourself, I always like to ask foodies this question.
Yeah.
Where do you stand?
Sweet.
Okay. Yeah, right. Is that by a reasonable margin or just close?
Reasonable, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. What's your favourite dessert of all time?
Man, that can be changed time to time. We were in Melbourne the other day. I said to my wife, I said, look, I don't want to have any dessert, She want to try the matcha cheesecake.
Okay.
And they brought 2 or 3 in a hotel. Man, you're not going to believe it. I ate most of them. I'll be going back there when we will be in Melbourne.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. And finally, do you have any recommendations for us? Something you're reading or watching or listening to?
Anything like positive,
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like to read. And I got there's a small book, there's a big book. I think it's called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes.
I got the big books. You open anywhere in the middle. Man, you read just 2 pages. That gives you pump.
Yeah.
So
has that been important for you in terms of your knowledge? Obviously, you've got your direct qualifications, like qualified chef and everything, but things like positive books and podcasts and all the rest of it. Is that an important thing?
It is on some point. You might be feeling low, but but what I experience, if you do something too much, it just become overwhelming. So a little bit, maybe I have one. If you read a book, you want to finish within a week. Otherwise, you'll just lose interest. Then might give a break for 1-2 weeks or a month. Then you start another one. And there was one more book. I still have that one. I read that one a few times too. The Resilience Project.
Okay.
And,
yes.
That was something the guy he was mentioning about the India. He went over India, and he spent some time in ashram, how was the living there? That was actually my village living, that sort of thing,
Yeah.
And then he said, oh, wow, you came a long way, It just reflected,
Yeah.
And then you see the happiest man on planet. Yeah, and that's a great book too. Like that, you just read one chapter and just think about it after that.
Yeah. Was that the man that was in Auschwitz?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yep. Well, Guru, time is done, but Jesus, was a great chat. Thank you so much for popping in. You're bloody busy, obviously, running so many places. So for you to come in and spend a little time with me was just tremendous, and I've loved to discover your journey. Guru Ghuman, thank you so much, mate. Cheers. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, mate.